I'm Sarah. You might not know me because I'm a new 8th grader this year, but I'm going to be talking about how to handle stress. I'm also going to be talking about living in the present and what that means. Living in the present means that you're not stressing about the future. When I was in 5th and 6th grade, I used to think too much of what was happening next, and I felt as if I had to plan everything out. I used to be afraid of tests, and I was so scared of failing that it would cause me to get a bad grade. My parents realized that I wasn't really myself anymore, and I was shy when I used to be outgoing. I never raised my hand in class because I was afraid of being wrong, so they decided to ask me what was going on, and they helped me realize that one bad test or grade isn't as big as a deal as I thought it was. Now I don't think like this anymore, and I know that myself and probably most 8th graders are stressed about high school. I was talking to my dad one night about high school and that I didn't know where I was going to go, and he told me something that inspired me to do this as my chapel. Live in the present, not the future. Although you should know where you're going to high school soon, living in the present is a good thing. You should live in the present. Don't stress about the little things. When you worry about a test, just know that if you fail it or get a grade that you're not happy with, there is always time to improve your grade. When you're an adult, that test won't actually matter. Is your future boss really going to look at that test? You'll probably laugh about it later. And besides, it's scientifically proven that only 15% of what you worry about has a bad outcome. When you stress, you'll miss out on the good things in life. Middle school should be a good part of life to remember, especially in 8th grade, because it is pretty much your last years of childhood. When you leave Montgomery, do you want to remember this year as being really stressed out and focusing on your grades all the time? Although grades matter, this year should be filled with funny memories and remembering your friends from this school.
My goodness, don't you remember when you went first to school? You went to kindergarten. And in kindergarten, the idea was to push along so that you could get into first grade, and then push along so that you could get into second grade, third grade, and so on, going up and up. And then you went to high school, and this was a great transition in life. And now the pressure is being put on. You must get ahead. You must go up the grades and finally be good enough to get to college. And then when you get to college, you're still going step by step, up to the great moment in which you're ready to go out into the world. And then when you get out into this famous world comes the struggle for success in profession or business. And again, there seems to be a ladder before you, something for which you're reaching all the time. And then, suddenly, when you're about 40 or 45 years old in the middle of life, you wake up one day and say, huh? I've arrived. And by Jove, I feel pretty much the same as I've always felt. In fact, I'm not so sure that I don't feel a little bit cheated. Because, you see, you were fooled. You were always living for somewhere where you aren't. And while, as I said, it is of tremendous use for us to be able to look ahead in this way and to plan, there is no use planning for a future, which when you get to it and it becomes a present, you won't be there. You'll be living in some other future which hasn't yet arrived. And so in this way, one is never able actually to inherit and enjoy the fruits of one's action. You can't live at all unless you can live fully now.
In that speech, what is trying to be said is that everyone is thinking, talking, and stressing over the future, and everyone is going somewhere, and you'll never stop. There is always something next. It is a good thing to know where you're going next, but not too much. Once in a while, you need to take a break from technology and just slow down. Everything you do is done for the next thing you do. You do your homework for good grades. You get good grades to go to a good college, to get a good job, to support your family, so your family will have a good life too. It is just a cycle that never really stops. Everyone is thinking about what will happen next, but why not be happy for what you have right now? Technology is a great thing, but it does have many downsides, like how you can miss out on a great experience or memory because of how focused you are on your phone. Imagine how many hours you could have spent with your friends or family, but you're on your phone instead. Time is a very valuable thing that you shouldn't waste. Be careful how you use your time.
Went up to her father, who was using his phone, and said, "Dad, how much do you make every hour?" Her father looked at her, slightly confused, and replied, $100. She looked back at him and said, "Dad, can I get $50? He looked even more confused and hesitatingly reaching to his pocket and handed her $50. She then reached into her back pocket, took out another $50 and said, "Dad, here is $100. Can I have an hour of your time?" Reality is that we now spend more time on our phones than we do with our loved ones. By the time you finish watching this video, there will have been over 8 million YouTube views, over $610,000 in sales for Amazon, and over 2.9 million swipes on Tinder. We've evolved so that our digital phones have become our physical homes. We walk with them, talk to them, eat and sleep with them. Has FaceTime made us forget to spend time face to face? Do we hide our emotions behind emojis? Do we feel that calls would reveal too much? Do we prefer text instead of a one-to-one connect? Is it wrong that our Instagram feeds are more like highlight reels and not how we really feel? We started by blaming the teenagers, and now every one of us is a screenager. Sherry Turkle says we now expect more from technology and less from each other. We're never alone, but still lonely, alone together. And we're meant to use things and love people, but today we use people and love things. For 80% of us, the first and last thing we see in our day is our phones. Parted from them, we feel lost. 70% of us turn to our phones in crowds just to look busier. We need to prioritize what matters to us. Let's not have our minds full of notifications and emails, but let's be mindful to noticing others' emotions. We're always charging our batteries and updating our software, but what about recharging ourselves and upgrading our soft skills? When was the last time you logged out, switched off, took a digital detox? Sometimes we need to unplug, disconnect so that we can reconnect and use technology purposefully. We've confused technology and time. We use tech to text someone next to us, but we need to be using it for those who are far away and use time for the people that are actually close. The problem is not technology, it's the way we use it, or right now at least the way it uses us. Be careful about what's on your news feed, because that's what you're feeding your mind. Cheat on your phone with a book. I promise you it won't be a mistake. Don't make someone compete for your attention against your phone. Give it to them and let them surprise you. Create no technology times and zones in your home so that the ones who love you can hear your voice and not just your ringtone. Your phone has already replaced your camera, your calendar, and your alarm clock. Don't let it replace the people who matter.
Everyone has negative thoughts. You've had to say something to yourself that you wouldn't say to someone else, but when you're always telling yourself that you're going to fail, you'll stress too much that it will increase your chance of failing. You cannot really control what happens in your head, but you can change how you react to it. Just think of it like this. When you were in second grade, multiplication was hard. As you got older, it was easier. Now you might think that algebra is hard, but next year and the years after, it will be easier, like multiplication. What you think is challenging now will be easier later, just like how you thought what was hard when you were younger is easier now. So I hope maybe you'll take some things from this chapel and use it, because in your last years in Montgomery, you should make sure to have a lot of fun and not overthink the future of high school. Cherish the time with your friends and teachers and make memories. Put your phone down sometimes and live in the moment. Look around you and remember how lucky you are. Stop worrying about what will happen next and be happy about what is happening to you now. Thank you.